Hi Drew. So I told you I'd make you a little video on how to wire the counter up. So this is the power supply for the remote counter and disabler for that same counter. So with the disabler you can turn a machine on or off, or vice versa. You can have the machine in the off position and just turn it on when that's required. I'd like to walk you through a few of the components that we have here. Basically, I got you an extension cord that's going to go in your box. You have your 1318 wireless unit, and you have your power supply. Okay, now the power supply is used as a pre-wiring unit for your 1318, so you don't have a whole lot of work to do. You can just connect to some high tension wire. Now we have a PCB here just to explain to you what's in the power supply. Essentially, we have a multi-voltage transformer on this PCB. That multi-voltage transformer can accept any voltage from 90 volts AC to 240 volts AC, and it automatically converts it to 12 volt DC. Now, about the power supply, you're going to have to specify if your application is a 120 or 115 application for the incoming power, or a 240 application. The reason for that is if you're going to be doing cycle counting and you're going to be taking one line of 110, you're going to need to order a 220 unit, and we're going to add in, let me show you here, a little resistor so that we can have 220 counting going on. Okay, so enough about that. The other thing that I have on here is I have a relay, and that relay just opens and closes, click clock, and takes the 110 power and sends 12 volt DC back to our unit where that's trigger is being counted. And then we have another 5 amp relay on here, and that relay is to drive a contactor or drive some type of a switch or some type of other device. Okay, that's to turn the machine on and off. The other thing you'll see on here is I have 3 LEDs. So I got a green, a yellow, and a yellow. The green LED, that will just let the installer know once he's hooked it up that there's power. This yellow LED, that the switch is either in the open or the closed position. And the last LED, it's for when the switch is getting triggered. Okay, there's a visual signal there for the switch being triggered, so you'll know if what is happening is actually happening. And then all of that fits nicely into this little translucent box. Okay. All right. On the wiring, your wiring is a 6 grain braid wire. Okay. Basically, you have the black and the white that gets connected to your main power supply. You have the red wire is the trigger for the counter, and then you have green and orange, and they are the switch. Alright. The other thing that happens here is I got a blue wire. The blue wire is nothing. It's not connected to anything in the board or anything. You just trim that off. Okay. So here's your SIM chip that goes right inside the unit. Okay, so you're going to need to push that in. I'm going to send it already pushed in, of course. Just push that in with a pencil or something, and then there's a little locking mechanism that will hold that in place. You just slide the locking mechanism over. Okay, pretty good. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to plug this thing in for you and explain a little bit how it works. We're going to watch the LEDs over here. There's two things that's going to happen. I'm going to plug it in, and then we're going to watch a small LED right here in the corner. Okay, so keep an eye on that. That'll go flash, flash. That means it's looking for a signal, and then the LED will go solid when it's gotten a signal from the AT&T network. Okay, here we go. Flash, 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 flash. solid. There you go. So we're actually on the network. You know, in some locations that'll take upwards of 5 minutes, depending on how how good the signal strength is around there, and or it could take as little as what we just did, 5-10 seconds, if the signal strength is very good. Okay, I'll run you through the LED lights. As you can see, right through the translucent box, we can see what's happening. We have the power is on. We have the switch indicator, it's on, so the relay is in the closed position. And then there's the last light, which you don't see in the activation mode, and I'm going to activate that right now to tell us that we're counting a cycle. So in order to do that, I'm going to remove one of these wire nuts, and this will be the wire nut on the hot side. And I'm going to take the red wire, and I'm going to just touch them together. Now you can hear the relay closing. Listen. And there's a switch to there's a light, there's an LED to let you know that you've made contact, that your cycle is happening, and that could be, you know, as we discussed, the contactor that drives the pump for one of your plastic machines. Okay, drives the hydraulic plastic machine. So every time that closes, click, and then when the contactor would open, 1, close, 2, 3. I think you get the message. Well, as I said, that seems to be about it. It's pretty straightforward. I'm going to package this all up for you tonight and get it off to you. You should have it in like the next 4 days. And hopefully we'll be speaking soon. Okay, good night. Have a great weekend. Bye.